Broncos country, what is going on? Instant reaction here. Broncos preseason game number one. Man, I cannot believe it's here. And we are live. We are going to break it down for you guys. We got about 7 minutes left in the fourth as this game comes to a wrap. Broncos got the lead currently 27-24. We'll keep you posted if there's any changes. Obviously, as a fan, I genuinely don't really care about the final score, but there's a lot of different things that I was looking for, and I'll break it all down. I got some notes. Let me get them all pulled up, and we'll get going right with the instant reaction of week one of this preseason. While I do that, guys, if you haven't already, if it's your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button. Check out some of my other videos. Really help out the channel if you can like, comment, and subscribe as usual as I'm trying to build this thing up. But if you're a fan of Broncos football, if you like the Nuggets, if you like the Avalanche, all things Denver sports, and you love fantasy football, then I think you're going to love the content. And I always appreciate and I always welcome all of the engagement in the comment section as well. So appreciate you guys. Guys, today the Broncos had their opening game of the preseason, and the storyline, without a doubt, and thankfully this is the storyline, was Bo Nix, as he absolutely shined in his first opportunity. He looked fantastic. He looked mobile. He looked in control. He started off, first two throws, a little bit shaky. You can tell kind of maybe some nerves, but he really settled in, man. And he showed a lot of what he can do as a playmaker, as somebody that can read defenses, as somebody that's poised. And I'll tell you what, that arm talent and that arm strength that he showed today as well was special, because he definitely, for those people that say he has a weak arm, I've been trying to tell you this for a long time. I know my man Jeremy, David Talks Broncos, we've all been saying the same kind of thing. Arm strength is absolutely not a concern for Bo Nix. But let's get into it, guys. Let's break it down overall. So Bo Nix came into the game after two drives by Stidham. Stidham looked solid. He looked fine. He kind of looked the way we'd expect Jared Stidham to look. Bo Nix came in, couple run plays, a couple of incompletions. Then he had a really great scramble drill where he bought himself some time, threw on the run into a tight window to Cortland Sutton for a long gain for the first down. That really got the ball rolling. He ended up finishing his first drive with a field goal, and then they got a touchdown on his second drive, and then they got, I believe it was a completion that resulted in a fumble on his third, and then it was touchdown field goal. So 5 possessions, 4 scoring plays. He just looked really good, and what I really loved about him is he seems like he's the kind of guy that is going to be able to really open up this playbook for Sean Payton, even though it's the preseason. And a lot of times in the preseason, coaches do not want to, they're going to keep things a little bit more vanilla, right? We understand that. And that's normal. It's not going to be the full playbook type of stuff. But you can even start to see a little bit of him, of Sean Payton really calling an offense to where he can do a lot of different things, a lot of motions, a lot of RPO, a lot of play action, a lot of throwing across the middle, down the seams. He did it all, and he looked really comfortable doing it. I loved the touchdown pass that he had to Marvin Mims. It was kind of like he came in motion across the middle, snapped the ball, faked the handoff, turn balls coming out of the hands, accurate on the sidelines, away from the defender. Really underratedly difficult pass to make, to be honest with you. But he did a lot of that in Oregon, and it was great to see some of those nuances kind of be impacted into the offense. So overall, guys, I think Bo Nix looked fantastic in every way. Now, listen, we're not going to blow this out of proportion. If he looked bad, we wouldn't blow it out of proportion. So if he looked good, we're not going to blow it out of proportion. We do still understand that it is preseason. He wasn't going up against the Colts starters on every possession. But what you want to see in the preseason is you want to see somebody that looks comfortable, that's confident, that's got the tools to really be able to make everything come together. And without a doubt, you saw that with Bo. We'll have a full breakdown. We'll dive into him specifically in future videos. But overall, let's get to the team. So let's look at some negatives first. Starting off with the negatives, penalties and drops, a huge issue, really from the beginning of the game all the way through the end right now. It's a problem. And if you're going to have those problems, you got to have them in the preseason. So can't get too overly mad about that. But it would be a big bonus if we can get a lot of those things cleaned up, because we do not want to be the team like we were last year that is constantly, setting themselves up and putting themselves in bad positions, right? Especially on first downs where all of a sudden, it's 1st and 20, or it's 1st and 15, or it's second and long, and then basically the drive is over before it's even started. That's always frustrating. So those are things that are going to happen, but you definitely want to see get cleaned up, for sure. What was a really big positive for the team, for sure, in my opinion, was the red zone and 3rd down. I think we looked really, really good. We scored a touchdown, I believe, on every red zone opportunity that we've had. And it just seemed like we were really efficient. We looked really comfortable. We had a really good balance of running the ball versus a good balance of pass. Overall, we looked really good on both 3rd down and in red zone. And that's always, obviously extremely, extremely important. As the Broncos get themselves another touchdown here, guys, live. Looks like Blake Watson, my man Blake Watson, is up in there getting a little bit of love. Love to see that. As he scores, Broncos are up 34-24, about 5 minutes left in this one as we play. So we're kind of doing this live off the cuff. But I really loved what I had seen overall from the team. So yeah, sorry. So kind of recapping, the drops, the penalties, an issue. The positive things about those are both things can be fixed. Both things are fixable. And then other negatives that we really had coming out of this game, Lucas Kroll looks like he came out on a cart. He did come back out onto the field. They said he was limping. He was ruled out pretty quickly with a toe injury. Those can be really, really tricky. They can definitely be long-term if they're not handled the right way. So expect for Lucas Kroll to miss some time, but not the end of the world considering, there's a chance. I think I'd be optimistic that he could return back for the regular season, which is always the most important piece. But you definitely still want a young player like him to get more and more opportunities. And I hope that me hyping him up so much this offseason hasn't cursed him. Greg Dulcich looked like he got up slow on one of the plays. I know this is something that we talked about. It looks like it is completely irrelevant and separate from the hamstring issues and all that. I don't think it was a concussion. I think he was just dinged up a little bit. Seemed to be fine on the sidelines, kept his pads on, didn't return. Could be precautionary, but really interested to see what ends up coming from that. Other points that we had really talked about here, and I'm just kind of going in order with things that I typed out when I was watching the game. We talked about it previously. It looks like Riley Moss and Mathis both started the game. I'm really happy they did that. It makes sense. We talked about in a couple of different videos how I think that's something that the Broncos should explore just to be able to get them more reps overall. And so they did that. And to be honest with you, both of them made some plays. Damari Mathis had a really nice PBU. Riley Moss had one a little bit later. There wasn't too much that you could really see in the live broadcast to be able to break anything down. So I'll look for some breakdown videos on maybe some of the all 22 film to see how are they looking in, defending some routes. It could be that they got burnt on a couple routes, but the quarterback didn't see him, or it could be that they just locked some guys down and the quarterback didn't even bother throwing that way either. So that's a little bit of a tougher tell, but I was really happy to see both of them. They went out and made plays overall. It looks like as of right now too, Cody Barton seems to have quite a comfortable lead over Jonas Griffith for that second linebacker role next to Alex Singleton. So that'll be interesting to continue to monitor. They both look like they were flying around out there. Defense overall really looked like it was playing fast. They were disciplined. Most of the penalties really came on the offensive side of the ball. So those are all really positive things there as well. And a special shout out specifically here as I look through the notes is Malcolm Roach. Man, Malcolm Roach really looked like he was playing well against the first teamers, against the second teamers, whoever it was. He just has kind of an attitude against them. It was funny because he's wearing that 97. He kind of had some Malik Jackson with the way that he was just kind of talking a lot of crap out there, adding a lot of energy to the defense. So he looked good. So that's something that is a positive, and we'll see if he can continue to develop. But he started, and he was brought in here to stop the run and to add a little bit more depth and a little bit more. I can't even think of the right word, but just to be a lot more solid on the defensive line overall. And he looked all the part, in the limited snaps that he had gotten. And guys, I'm really excited overall about the draft class as a whole. They all really seem to shine, with the exception so far of Troy Franklin, which is a little bit disappointing, but I guess not super surprising. It's a deep wide receiver room, so he might be one of those guys that just needs a little bit more time. But let's go down the list. We talked about Bo Nix. He looked fantastic. Jonah Ellis, man, oh man, he reminded me today a lot of um, kind of, a young Jonathan Cooper, but a little bit more talented, right? More talent than Jonathan Cooper had. But Jonathan Cooper was a seventh round pick. He fell because he doesn't have all of these physical traits. But my God, does he play with his hat on fire? And you saw that from Jonah Ellis every single play. The dude was just out there playing his ass off. He got a really good pressure on, I think it was Sam Ellinger, who was quarterbacking at the time. Forced the bad pass that resulted in an interception. The dude just looked like he was out there moving, flying around. Love that. Chris Abrams-Drain made a couple plays, couple PBUs. He looked like he was really aggressive, having a good time out there. So it was nice to see him. And he's getting some outside corner work. So definitely a dark horse to be, maybe thrown into the mix of discussion of potentially being the corner opposite of PS2. Audric Estime had a really rough fumble that led to a touchdown, but he looked like he had some flashes too. Decisive uphill runner. I compared him a lot to CJ Anderson. I saw a lot of that today. Quicker than he looks, got a really good first burst. And he had some catches out of the backfield today, which was really impressive also, which was nice to see him in the pass game work. So he looked good. Who else are we missing here? I know I'm missing a couple of other dudes overall. Oh, and then Devon Vele, they definitely got him involved early. They definitely have him higher up on the depth chart. He was playing with the ones. He was playing with the backups. He was playing early in that game. They targeted him a lot. He only had one catch for 8 yards, but a lot of throws down his way that resulted in a pass interference call that if he wasn't, pass interfered with, he's most likely coming down with and making plays. So I'm still going to be iffy on him. I know he's looked really good in camp, but until that can be translated directly into a game, we can't look into it too much. But definitely he's made an impression in camp because he was in with the starters pretty damn early for sure today. So overall, guys, I mean, I think the draft class has showed some promise, has looked really, really good. And I'm excited to see them continue to develop and continue to advance there. So we'll see how that goes. Lucas Kroll, we talked about, he struggled with a really ugly fumble early. He caught the ball, fumbled. Broncos were able to get the interception on the next play back to be able to give Bo Nix an opportunity for that 2-minute drill. And then immediately Bo goes right back to Lucas Kroll on back-to-back plays, long completions down the middle. So that was really good to see overall. And another tidbit I just wanted to sneak in on Bo Nix as well. What was really nice about today's game and the way that it all played out was he got a mix of being able to do everything. He had an opportunity on a fourth down play. He had a ton of red zone opportunities. He had a 2-minute drill that he was able to capitalize on and be able to run. So he experienced a lot of different scenarios by playing really just half of a game, which was awesome. So that just really panned out really well for him and for Broncos country as a whole. So I'm juiced, man. I'm juiced. A couple of other notes. It looks like Luke Wattenberg has got a pretty damn firm grip on that center position, because not only was he looked good in the time that he had it. He was running with the ones. They didn't switch him out until they even took Bo out, to be honest with you, I think at some point. And then what I had seen later was Alex Forsyth got some run at center, and then they switched him over to guard to put Sam Mustafa in. So I don't know if that's just them wanting to see Alex Forsyth at guard, or if it was more, hey, after they put Mustafa in, they didn't really have anybody else that they wanted to see. You never know with these preseason games, but it was interesting to see that for sure. No doubt about it when it comes to the center position. So I thought it was going to be a little bit more evenly split, but did not seem to be the case overall. So I look for Luke Wattenberg to be the favorite right now at center, which is still a surprise for me. But he did come out. He was the starter. That wasn't surprising, but he looked good. He looked really, really good. And hopefully we can continue on that, man, and we can get this offensive line group solidified and get some continuity going overall. Overall, though, the line looked really good. Devin Key got the start at safety opposite of PJ Locke. That was kind of another shocker to me as well. Was not expecting that. So that is something to really keep an eye out on as well. I was hoping to see a little bit more JL Skinner, and I thought maybe he would be somebody that would get a crack at it, but it looks like it's Devin Key. He kind of made a little bit of a jump, and can I say he made plays or not? It's hard to tell, but a lot of the times the storylines will come out of who's out there first with the ones or with the with the other, with the other starters. And definitely seeing Devin Key out there was interesting, for lack of better words, there for sure. And Tyler Beatty, man, that guy just always seems to be making plays. He really does. Whenever he gets the opportunity, every preseason, I feel like he just makes plays, and then an injury or something happens, and he ends up, not necessarily making the team. Could he be a dark horse? I don't know. I mean, it's a really deep running back room, a really, really deep room. But I just wanted to give a special shout out to Tyler Beatty because it just seems like every time he gets the opportunity, he looks good, man. He looks really, really good, and he seems like he's always making plays. So, but overall, guys, let me know what your thoughts were. What were your takeaways from this game? There was a lot, and I didn't want to make this a 30 or a 45-minute video, so I tried to kind of go through them all quickly. But my instant reaction, I think it was really positive. Really, really juiced to be a Broncos fan. Really juiced to have Broncos football back, man. But let me know what you guys think. What were your main takeaways from this game? We're going to have a lot of videos dedicated to very specific topics. A lot of the things that we had went over today in this video, we'll go in depth on those videos. But I just wanted to get with you guys all and talk about the game as a whole, man. So I'm pumped. I saw a lot of positives. Not any really many serious injuries, knock on wood, that we know of. And that's always a huge plus. But Bo Nix looked like the real deal. And to be honest with you guys, and this might be too early, but I'm at the point now where the Broncos should just announce it. Announce Bo Nix is going to be the starter. Let him get maximum reps leading up into the season. And let Stidham and Zach Wilson battle it out for the backup role. Because don't forget, guys, $7 million is owed to Stidham. So if Zach Wilson can show that he can be a decent backup, he's got a lot more experience than Stidham does. It might be a financially wise move to move on from Stidham. But we'll see. We'll see. But come on, guys, Broncos country. Not Broncos country, Broncos organization. Let's just name Bo the starter and let's move on with it because he looked like he is the real deal right off the bat. Guys, I appreciate y'all rolling with me. That's it for today. Mile high salute, everybody. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, all right? Don't forget to spend time with the people that you love. And as always, peace out.